believe that's the way that God moves, and I believe he does too. When they touched Jesus' garment, they received their miracle. Yeah. When the cloths were taken from Paul's body and they were sent out, the demons left, and the people, they received healing. So God does move in that way. When Peter walked by, just his shadow over passing the people, they would lay him on the streets of Jerusalem, that when the shadow touched them, God would start doing healings and miracles. That's how they knew that God had visited the people. So this is what happens in India. So one night, it was actually a Sunday afternoon, we prayed for all the people, and then we would have the dinner in the church, and then we see this long line of people from the back of the church go right out to the street, and what's happening here? They said, oh, they've been hearing about healings and miracles happening in the service. They all want prayer. So you have 100 to 150 people with the red dots on their head, all wanting prayer. Now, this is your opportunity to pray for them for salvation, if they choose that, and to pray for their healing, that God would just move in their lives. So this moving and happening in your life will cause more people everywhere, really, but particularly in some of these restricted countries, to come to Christ. So this is very, very needed area of the gospel if God's going to send you, and it's important here too. Because to be honest with you, when the gift of God starts moving very strong, the churches fill up. Because people who, spiritualists will come for healing. Catholics will come for healing and deliverance. There'll be people from all different, even non-believers, because they've tried everything else with no help. And when the report starts to get out that God's doing these miracles, this will bring people there. Do you think that everybody came to Jesus for the teaching? Some did come for the teaching, but you know why they came? Because they had a need in their life. Some came for the loaves and the fishes. We understand that. But in one place in the Bible, they were traveling from Idumea. They were traveling from Tyre. They were traveling from Zidon. Tyre and Zidon, they're on the Mediterranean coast. They're 45 and 70 kilometers away. That's if you went by air, but it doesn't work that way. You go about a third more when you go by roads. And then they came from Idumea. Idumea is an area just north of Egypt, and they were 180 kilometers away. I think it was miles, actually, 180 miles away, and they traveled from Jerusalem area, and Jesus healed them all. They were traveling many, many days. And you say, well, why was everybody healed under Jesus' ministry? Well, for many reasons. One, because we know he was the Son of God, God in the flesh. We know that he was anointed for that purpose. But he also had sacrificed. He'd spent time in prayer and fasting. He was separated. He was living a holy life. He wasn't involved he didn't have any worldliness. He was pure unto God. But the disciples had the same thing operating in their life. Because in many places in the Bible it said they healed them all. Now, we have today, and sometimes he does heal them all, but many, many times we get a percentage of people healed. Now, as I study this very, very intently, why were they healed back then? Sometimes more than today, but I'm seeing more and more healings and miracles happening today, and it's causing more and more people to come to the Lord. So I know it's possible. Well, I saw a sacrifice in two places. I saw Jesus sacrificing, like I just said, fasting 40 days, going into the wilderness, but I also saw the people sacrificing. They had to convince somebody, said that, like say, who are you going to convince to take you if you're lame? If you're mangled, if you're blind, you have no money to pay them, the roads are dangerous, you have to travel at night, it's cold at night, there's robbers, and I have to convince somebody who's probably not going that way, because in this account, Jesus was north in the area of Capernaum. And how do I convince someone to bring me all the way across Israel with no pay? It has to be like pleading with the people. So the people are already sick, but they're sacrificing. They're listening to Jesus sometimes for 3 days when he was on the mountain, and he would heal them. So there was a sacrifice of great desire on the person looking to receive. There was also a sacrifice that Jesus and Paul and Peter and John and James and Andrew had made, that they would get more of God in their life. This was something they were doing daily. They were teaching daily in the temples. There was persecution, but you know what? There's persecution today too. This is rising up in the world today. So some of the situations are similar. There's taxing today. But there was also an open door. Just like there's an open door for my life and for your life. The Bible says, Jesus said, I will open a door that no man can shut, and I will shut a door that no man can open. But then Paul said, he said, there's an effectual door open. In other words, a large door open. Hallelujah. And it's funny, that door was opened into Asia. Hallelujah. This is the same door that's been opened to us. He said that there's many enemies.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
But you know what? God opens the door. None of the enemies can shut the door.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
I want to thank you for my heart for partnering with me.
Yes.
Hallelujah. That's all right. That's all right.
Paul said, nobody much stood with me at the first. And it's been that way with my life. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. But the vision, hallelujah. The Bible says, though the vision tarry, wait for it will not tarry. In other words, there's a time in your life when God starts to reveal things. He said, this is what's going to happen. This is what I'm going to be, this is what I'm doing now, but this is what I'm bringing you into. And it's first a vision there. And it seemed like it's never going to come to pass. But God showed me when He spoke to me, it almost seems bigger than me. Like, how can this happen? Everything's not set up. I don't have the finances. I don't have the ability. I don't have the time off from my job. I'm waiting for my son. I'm waiting for my daughter. There you go. I'm waiting for these things to happen. When is this going to happen? Hallelujah, hallelujah. Well, it's going to happen. As the Bible says, though it tarry, but then it will not tarry. What you've been believing for, now it's going to happen. So we're gonna do our best and crank it up. Let's get some sound here the best you can. We're going to try and show this video right now. God bless you.